Yeah. It's been quiet this whole time, and all of a sudden somebody wants to cut some shit.
Man.
Sweet gravy and Carmen Kirk. Check them out as they go to work. Congratulations on your new podcast. Now open up a can of whoop ass and blast, blast, blast.
Ooh, and welcome back to another episode of Sweet Gravy. And today we have a guest with us. He's been on the show before. He's a graveteer, a sweet graveteer, as we call them. You know,
Oh, yeah.
in the Mickey Mouse Club, they have the Mouseketeers. And we've decided that we're gonna adopt the sweet graveteers, and we've got Mr. Jaguar Paw himself.
Cheers, people. It's ginger ale. It's not any beer. It's too early to drink. Right
well,
now.
ginger ale is basically a ginger beer, right? Ale is a beer, and you know what the weird thing is? Ginger's a root, right? So basically, ginger
Yeah,
ale is root beer.
Yeah, good connection there,
But you never thought about it like that.
never did. Only you would think about some shit like that.
That's so
I just
true.
like to pop it open and drink it. You know, that's it. Get the
Yeah,
burp out. Yeah.
you know, we're not a big soda family here.
Mm.
We're water, coffee, a lot of coffee, you know, and some tea, you know, there might be some wine, you know, a little bit of the peebers,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's pretty much it. But there was this
That's
soda that was coming out, Mountain Dew Major Melon. That was a watermelon flavored Mountain Dew.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept buying it because it was funny to just keep showing up with, you know, more and more Mountain Dew in the house, and nobody was drinking it. It was like just a stockpile.
Yeah,
This joke is at my expense. Yeah.
you know what? Mountain Dew is a cultural thing because I don't even know if I've ever had Mountain Dew, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
I can't recall. I don't know. I don't remember ever having Mountain Dew. Maybe once in my life, and that was the regular green one that everybody knows. But yeah, I don't know. It's a cultural thing because I don't drink that shit.
Right.
But-
Yeah. You know, you gotta get
But
you gotta get a case of Mountain Dew, hop on your dirt bike, go out to the
Yeah.
country.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Right.
Nah, mine's would be get a case of Pabst and then get on the bike,
Right.
which is probably not a good idea to do both of those things. But
Well, people make decisions, choices. You know, might not always be the
you have too
smartest.
many choices.
Yeah.
You can have too many choices. With me, it's either water, coffee, beer, whiskey. That's it. Only
That's it.
four.
That's the four. Yeah.
Oh, and ginger ale.
Oh,
That's-
ginger ale.
That's it.
But that's only for the burps.
No, yeah, the burps and maybe the occasional nausea, you know, after drinking whiskey neat, you know.
Yeah.
No ice, no. Can't do that shit no more. Can't mix. It's horrible.
You are only a neat man.
Yes. No, I notice now at my age, if I do cocktails, it
Mhm.
affects me a little more,
Really?
which is weird because you would think it would be it's like the opposite.
If you
Yeah.
if you do the whiskey with unsweetened iced tea, that's what I've been trying to do, so you don't get the because if you do the whiskey neat and then you do I always do a chaser on the side. Like I won't mix it, but I'll have like a little chaser on the side. So instead of
Yeah.
having Coke as a chaser, I start doing unsweetened iced tea. And it
See,
doesn't
the
taste
thing-
the best, but it's not so sweet.
See, the problem with cocktails is that if it tastes good, it goes down good. You
Yeah.
know, you drink it with no fear. You're like, yeah, this is great, you know, and then, but lately since I've been drinking it neat, it's like it's good, but it also reminds me how strong that shit is,
Hmm.
Yeah.
especially depending on what you're drinking. And I drink like Kirk will agree with this whiskey, Wild Turkey, or yeah, exactly. Hey, that shit's rocket fuel, bro. I can't.
I don't think I've ever had wild turkey.
uh,
Oh
it
man,
it
it,
was
it'll cleanse the
cleanse the demons
all the
in you.
germs.
Yeah. Wild turkey was whenever I was in college. That was my go-to. You could get a fifth of Wild Turkey 101, and that's all you needed for a little bit. And I had these aspirations of being like a certain writer who, I read that it was his drink of choice, Mr. Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was a wild turkey man, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna be just like that. But I'll tell you, I haven't had a wild turkey beverage since I left Catalina. Like,
I I remember you were like a scientist with it. Like you will start making your what do you would start making it you do it whiskey sours, correct?
sometimes, yeah.
But then you make your own, what is it called? Your own help me out with this. You make it like in a pot on the stove.
Oh no, no, that wasn't me. Not I don't know who did that. No, but
I saw you do that once.
you saw me
So
make it like a
yeah,
hot
yeah.
toddy, like
No, no, it wasn't you were preparing the
a
what
simple
is the mixture?
like making
A
like a simple
simple syrup.
syrup.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah. You
I,
were like, I was like, what are you doing? Like, you're like, I'm making simple syrup. I was like, what?
yeah.
For what? And I remember saying something dumb like for your pancakes, or I don't know what I said.
Right, a simple syrup for my
He's like,
pancakes. Yeah.
he's like, no, Johnny, it's gonna be for my whiskey sour.
Yeah, had my dedicated Turk cup, which had
I'm like,
the
okay.
cup with the straw that wouldn't fall out of it, and I would always pretend to drop my cup, but I would catch it by the straw. It was some good times. Yeah.
But living with this man, everything's a damn production. It's like,
Oh yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware
it's like
for sure. It's
he
fun
has his things.
sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Kurt got
But
his
yeah,
little tricks.
Always got to have
mhm,
tricks.
yeah.
I think that it was your 30th birthday, and I was thinking about this the other day. Uh,
Ooh,
your
yeah, that
30th
was good.
birthday, you had these. It was a surprise party for you, right?
Yeah.
And you had a taco man there, a man making
Yeah,
tacos, right? And I
yeah.
didn't have any cash. I was island poor still, like the funny thing about living on the island, you're like,
Hey, it's better than being city poor.
yeah, that's true,
Very, very true.
The funny thing is, going through that time, like working there, and then you're like, well, I don't have any bills to pay, but also
Exactly.
all of your bills, they still come out of your check, so you don't have any
Hmm.
money anyway. Like, so
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
I've actually kind of found out that not working there, I actually live a little more comfortably.
Yeah, what? Yeah, yeah. I can see where you're going with that, and it's true. I
Yeah,
mean, but like they always said, when you sign up, you don't come here for the money.
right. Yeah, it's the
You come here
experience.
for for the lifestyle.
Right.
And when Ben told me that, I understood it because I was in that state of my life where I want something completely different, like
Right.
something else.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I grew up in the West Coast and I know the beach and I grew up in that environment, but I wanted to live that island life. You
Hmm.
know, it wasn't like it was just something I wanted to just try out. Like I knew I was gonna stay.
Hmm.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
So when he said that, I'm like, that's cool. Sign me up. I'm here to stay. And that's when he was like, oh, okay, all right. I was like, when am I leaving today?
The boat's
He's
right
like, oh
there.
no,
Are we
well,
hopping on the boat
yeah,
right there?
like, are we going right now? He's like, oh no, well, like a couple days.
Couple of days. We gotta get you to pee in a cup first.
Exactly.
I think it also depends on how you, like you say, island poor, and you bring up those things. But I think it depends on you live more comfortable after leaving the island because of the situation that you went into after leaving. versus
Hmm.
people we know that's in California that's barely making it. Like they would much
Yeah.
rather, they're way more comfortable on an island and living in California and can't make it on their own. So
Well,
yeah.
you know what it is to me? To me, what it was is that I started to get very, the city was causing me very high anxiety and like physical problems. Like I remember looking around one day and I was like, I can't stand this shit anymore. Like
Hmm.
the noise, the people, the crazy shit that I don't know sometimes happens for some reason living in a city. Um, Pressure, just that I started to feel like physically sick of it all.
Hmm.
And not only that, but like the feel like associations you have or with people, certain people or certain influences and um it all can just spiral. And it's just like when I made that decision, I'm like, I'm ready for something else, like something more calming.
Mhm.
And we work hard there, but the problem wasn't the working hard. It was the just the environment, like the ocean, just being more in nature, more in a calm place. Yeah, so when I first got there, I was like, this is where I need to be right now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And not, I'm feeling that recently. I've been feeling that again, but I would want to move somewhere more that's not California. You get
Right.
me?
Yeah.
Or
Mhm.
somewhere farther out in California. But because I've talked to this, I mean, but I have kids. I have kids that are very small. So when you have kids that small, you can't really make that migration because they're very small.
They don't
When
understand
you
it.
they don't know, it's not only that, but it's like their mother works. I gotta work, so we rely on their grandparents
Yeah.
to take care of them because the Moni's mom, she's pretty much retired, so she has that time to help us with our kids. So I mean, if you're in a situation like that where you want to relocate, it's like a whole lifestyle thing, and then you gotta have to think about who's gonna take care of the kids. It's not like the good old days. We can just leave them at home, and because I've met people with kids that said, "Man, I feel so bad," but I remember sometimes my wife wouldn't come home. I would have to leave work when my wife is barely coming back from work, so I'd
Hmm.
have to just leave my kids for like 20 minutes by themselves.
Like that
But
was
that's
definitely us growing up. It was like
yeah,
my mom got
exactly. There you
home and
go.
my dad left, and it was about a 45
Hmm.
minute period where we would be home by ourselves. And I remember two guys try to break into the house in between that 45-minute period once because they had
Oh
been
man.
watching the whole time. And my mom got home in the middle of them trying to break in and grab their gun and everything. But yeah, it
Oh
was
shit. Yeah.
but yeah, our
They were
parents
scoping the
definitely,
area.
yeah,
Yeah.
they had been watching for days. So
Hmm. Oh damn.
like we ain't have shit. I don't know what they was gonna get.
They just need to get in there.
This is
We gotta go in there and see if they don't have anything, right?
we don't have
We don't
nothing.
know that they don't have anything. Well, we gotta
They
see.
were just scoping like, what do you think they're having for dinner? And the guy's like, I think it's like spaghetti tonight. Garlic bread? I
Garlic
don't know,
bread? I
man.
don't know.
Smells like
Uh,
dipping sauce for the garlic bread. I don't fucking know. Like,
and if I tell you, I'm gonna be really disappointed if they don't have that dipping sauce. I'll tell you.
mm,
Ah.
if they liked what they were making for dinner, they probably would have broken sooner. But
It's weird. You break into a house in a poor neighborhood.
exactly, he's like, why? He's
What?
like, that's the thing I don't understand. Why do the poor want to steal from the poor? It's like they basically have the same shit you probably have.
It's
Mhm.
because it's probably
Um,
easier to get inside than it is in a neighborhood
exactly,
with all the
exactly. That's
security
true.
measures.
Yeah, it's like desperate times call for desperate
Yeah.
measures. But if you want to steal from a rich area, you gotta have to be a little bit more organized. Have the black beanie, the black
The
glasses, the
black
black
beanie,
shirt,
black shirt.
black
You gotta.
pants, the black shoes, the black. You get it? You get what I'm trying to say?
You got.
You just can't wear. You can't just wear red or light blue with your jeans and purple shoes or your favorite cap that everybody knows you because
That you
you
gonna
wear
wear
it
the
all
next
the fucking
day.
time. Exactly. So you got to dress like you you gotta dress for success.
That's
Yeah.
that's hilarious. I saw I know that you were watching this last night. I woke up this morning. I watched the first two episodes of McCartney 3, 2, 1.
Man, I loved it. I loved it. If I didn't start getting sleepy because of the whiskey,
Uh-huh.
I would have stayed up all night and watched it. But um, like I said, now at my age, if you stay up all night, it hurts,
It
bro. The
hurts
next
the
day, you're
next
like,
day.
ah. You
uh,
start trying to you start going to sleep at random times. Like, nah, no good.
I
But I loved it, dude.
so McCartney, Carmen was asleep when I was watching it. It's McCartney 3, 2, 1. It's Paul McCartney of the Beatles, and he's talking to Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin is like basically like a prolific producer.
Oh
He's
yeah,
he's
oh
produced
yeah,
for the Beastie
big time.
Boys, Slayer, Red Hot Chili Peppers, just I think the Dixie Chicks, U2, just the list goes on. He's produced for tons and tons of
Yeah.
people, and they go through basically songs and how they were written, what they were doing in the studio.
Hmm.
But what makes it really cool is that they put the songs through the mixer and they isolate like pieces of
Yeah,
what the
yeah,
music's going on, and it's really cool to see. Like I
yeah,
loved it. What I saw, like I'd like to see some more, but what I did see, I loved it. I thought it was great.
yeah. No, yeah. Like I posted something on Facebook about it, and I'm like, they dissect everything, and then they were talking about like some of the Beatles songs, even though they're so the Beatles, poppy, soft, like harmony, and But in one of the songs, they were talking about how the bass is so heavy and distorted.
Hmm.
So it's like heavy distortion um, mixed with like softer music, and it's like And when they were isolating, I was like, oh wow, that is a pretty heavy bass sound for
Hmm.
like that type of song. And I'm like, huh. And they start talking about how like the ideas behind the songs, like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, came to be because they say drugs, and yes, maybe they were doing drugs at the time, but it had something to do with I forgot who's. I think it was John Lennon's son drew a picture of some chick, and then like
Hmm.
the stars above. I don't know if you've seen the episode yet.
No, I haven't got. I didn't make it
Okay,
that far.
then
Yeah, but
well, that's
yeah.
where they got the idea from a drawing that John Lennon's son
Uh-huh. And
had
then
on
he just so
paper.
happened to be on LSD as he was looking at the drawing, right?
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
So, but
Look,
yeah,
Dad, look what I drew.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah. We're gonna make a famous song about it.
Yeah, but it was really cool though. Really cool to watch, and
Yeah.
it's cool to. I think that one of the things that's weird is it's coming from Paul McCartney and like his
Yeah.
version of
Yeah.
the story, because nobody cares what Ringo thinks about what happens whenever they're in the studio, and the other two guys are dead, so
It's
you
like,
know.
what about Ringo,
Yeah,
man?
what about Ringo?
Where's he at? It's like,
There's not
where are
going to
you,
be a,
Ringo?
a star 3, 2, 1, let me tell you.
No.
But so you kind of see it from his perspective, Paul McCartney's.
Yeah.
But just to have those two heads there and a guy communicating it, talking about it to another guy who completely understands music. Like this is a guy that
Hmm.
produces all
Hmm.
types of music, any kind of music you could think of. Rick Rubin can do it, right? So it's just two minds, just like, and to see that discussion is great. I really enjoy it. I can't wait to finish it. It's only like 6 episodes,
Yeah.
so yeah.
The thing about I like about Rick Rubin, and I noticed that from the TV show, is that when Paul McCartney was talking, you can tell that Rick Rubin is genuinely amazed by what he hears and what Paul's saying.
Right.
Like he's engaged the whole time. Like he smiles at him, he's just like looking at him, and he's just genuinely amazed about what he hears and and what Paul's telling him.
Hmm.
So that just tells you how passionate Rick Rubin is about music.
Right.
And I got I listened to a podcast called No Dogs in Space. I don't know if you heard of it.
No.
It's a music podcast, and they do deep dives into Their first season was all about punk rock, from Iggy Pop to the Misfits, um, stuff like that. And they made their last one to wrap up the season was about the Beastie Boys,
Hmm.
and it's 5 parts. And they talk about Rick Rubin and their relationship with the Beastie Boys.
Hmm.
So Rick Rubin was very interested in them.
All right,
You
who's
get
Rick
me?
Rubin?
He's a producer. He's a
Oh,
music
okay.
producer.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He looks like a weirdo, long hair,
Yeah,
big
he's got long
beard.
hair. Like I said,
Yeah.
I think he produced Kanye West a couple his first two albums.
Let me help her out. Let me
Yeah.
help her out. Uh, he kind of looks like Evan Roadhouse.
He does kind of look like Roadhouse, only he's got a little less on the top, I would say.
Yeah. A little less, longer beard,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll check it out. No Dogs in Space is really good. I think
I
you'll enjoy that podcast.
I feel like you sent me a an episode, and it was about the about Led Zeppelin, and I was like, why would you send that to me? Like,
No. That was a different podcast called
Oh,
Your Favorite Band Sucks.
oh, okay.
So what they do is that they dissect bands like Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, but these guys. Okay, the song. One of the guys, the host, is the son of what the fuck? Is the son of Can't believe I'm blanking out on his name. David Allen Coe.
Oh, okay. Countryman.
Yeah, so but he knows music or whatever. He's
Mhm.
like a musician. And what they do is that they dissect the band, and they tell people like their mission is to tell you how your favorite band sucks basically, and why it sucks,
Right.
and why they pick your brain and try to they pick your brain and they try to make you think about why is it really that you like this band.
Hmm.
And I like it because I disagree with them, but I also can see why they would say something like that.
Right.
So it's like a love and hate kind of thing. Like they actually made fun of John Bonham's drum kit because they said that his drum kit, his bass pedal, would squeak. It had this infamous squeak that no one ever, only musicians and I think whoever played with caught it.
Hmm.
But if you listen to the music, you will never be able to catch it because everything's edited, right?
Right.
But they said for some reason his pedal always squeaked. So you like learn things like that,
Uh-huh.
and of course they say Led Zeppelin is like a prolific fucking cover band because they cover a lot of blues,
Right.
and they have their own shit, but for the most part it's the bluesy shit that got them into I guess fame, you can say.
Uh-huh.
But I mean that's a lot of music, everyone took from the rhythm and blues and stuff like that, so
Yeah.
everybody took a little bit of from that culture. Wow. So it's kind of like they weren't the only ones to do that, and they won't be the last. So everyone gives and takes.
Right
they
now, you
take.
got who you got popping right now in the industry. I would say, who would you say the top, maybe top three people in the pop world is right now?
I have no idea. I mean, I know
It's gonna be
famous
probably
people now.
Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish,
Oh,
probably all
okay,
those
but
the younger people right
oh,
now.
okay, Justin Bieber I've known of. Who else did you say?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. I heard her name around. Billie
Taylor,
Eilish
you've
is the
heard
one
her
that I
name
think.
around. Taylor
Yeah,
Swift,
like I've
one of
heard.
the biggest
Yeah, like
musicians in the
Taylor
world.
Swift.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
so I was at work one time. I was working at this deli. This girl was playing some music, and uh, and some Taylor Swift came on. I had no idea who it was, and this other woman was like, "Oh, you like T Swift?" And she was like, "Yeah, I love it." And I've never heard Taylor. If you played Taylor Swift for me right now, I wouldn't even know what she sounds like. I'd be like, "Who is this?"
Yeah, they marketed her right though. They marketed her like one of those teen idols that was out when she first came out. So she made deals everywhere, and I think that she's one of the highest paid musicians in the world right now. It was her and Justin Bieber competing, but I'm pretty sure she's the highest paid musician
See, me and Kirk are in the same place. I hear the name and I recognize it,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because even though I'm not looking for it, you pick up shit, you know. So
Yeah.
um, I don't even know any of her music. If you would play it and say, "Oh, this is Taylor Swift," I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah,
Cause
yeah." I heard him.
she's for teenage girls. Her
Uh,
demographic, even though she's probably not too much younger than we are. Well, you probably a little older than I am, Johnny. I'm sorry,
yeah,
but
it's okay.
she's probably in her later 20s, I would say. But she still markets towards 14-year-olds. Like her music is still for
Mm.
the young teenage girls, and that's where
So
her
if you're a
audience is.
so if you're a 34-year old man, then and listening to that, you should probably be concerned, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But she still is one of the biggest in
Or
the world
not,
right
or
now.
not.
Or
You
not,
know, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
could be your jam,
Different
man.
strokes for different folks, you
You
know.
know,
So
I knew this man nicknamed the last red-blooded American, and he loves some Lana Del Rey.
ah,
You know,
but see, that's different. Like
I
I
like
would see
Lana
why
Del
he would
Rey.
like her.
huh?
I think I'd rather listen to her than I don't know Taylor Swift or
Taylor
whatever.
Swift.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know.
I'm the same way. I like Lana Del Rey. I probably listened to her before Taylor Swift, but I still do recognize that Taylor Swift the biggest recording artist in the world right now.
I remember one time we were with I was with Ted in his room, and he started, like you say, he would play what was it? Lana, what'd you say?
Lana
Lana
Del
Del
Rey,
Rey?
yeah.
And he just went into this mode, and I'm just like looking at it. I'm just like, hell yeah, yeah. He's feeling it. He loves it.
Mm-hmm.
He started singing along. He was like doing some weird shit. Like I was like,
That
yeah,
man, he
yeah.
would lose himself like
Yeah, he would lose himself.
inside of things, and it was like there were things playing in his head, you know, because he'd be sitting there, and he'd kind of be talking to himself. He'd have this
Yeah,
internal dialogue
yeah,
going on, and then it would just spout out of his mouth towards the people that were around. And for that moment, for
exactly.
you, it was him dancing. He heard the
Yeah,
music
you
playing
know,
in his head, and he was just
you
like,
know.
ah.
I was pretty drunk, and then I'm looking at her, and I'm thinking, man, his mind is filled with chaos. But 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 when he's listening to her, it's like everything makes sense to him.
Everything makes sense. Yeah. He's like, now I get the world. Yeah.
And for that slight moment, like all the voices just go to sleep.
They drown out the voices. Lana Del Rey, the drowner out of my voices, my inner
Yeah,
voices.
and it was just like, yeah, that's cool, man. That's the place I want to be consistently,
Uh-huh.
or wish we could all be there consistently
Right.
in that lost state of I guess happiness. I don't know what you want to call it. But yeah, he was a trip. Ted was a trip, man. He
Uh-huh.
was a trip.
It was
Who
fun.
knows where that man is? One thing's for sure, what do they say? Rolling stones don't gather no moss
They
or
don't
some shit.
gather any moss. Yeah.
Ain't got any moss. He's probably, somewhere else, you know,
Definitely.
hopefully alive.
So what's going on with your state right now? Are you guys about to be back wearing masks again
Mm.
or what?
Look, to be honest, I've been a masker since the beginning. Um, what it seems like is going on right now is this new strain that's going on. Like everything else, there's speculation and people, theories and people just using their imagination a lot. And they're just making this up so people feel forced to get vaccinated, blah 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 blah. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense because if you know anything about viruses and if you've been following, viruses will evolve. And maybe this is another strain. Um, but whether you want to get vaccinated or not, honestly, just wear the fucking mask because I guess that's the only thing, quote unquote, that has been kind of curving it. But it's like everything is so fucked up. Like the CDC tells you one thing and then they tell you not to do it. And then this place, it's just a
Yeah,
whole
a
shit show,
bunch of
man.
misinformation. Nobody knows
It's
what's going on. They don't
it's
know
a
what's
whole
going
shit.
on.
When everything's like this, such a shit show, all you can really do is take care of yourself and use common sense. That's it.
Hmm.
Go back to square one. Just keep washing your hands. Just keep sanitizing. Just keep fucking, but don't sanitize too much because then your skin won't get used to germs anymore. Um, just wear the mask if it's needed, and you know, uh, a little alcohol don't ever hurt.
Right.
Did you get
A little
vaccinated?
alcohol. I did, and to be honest, when I was told to get vaccinated, I really did not. At first, I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't know. But I did this thing where I'm like, okay, I know people that got vaccinated. It's been months now.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, you go first and see what happens. But then I got vaccinated and I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get vaccinated. I mean, what else can possibly go wrong? You get
Right.
me? Like, I already had COVID once. Um, and luckily it wasn't severe. Um, I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get vaccinated. What else am I like? Why not? And it was if you want to know join the new world, you got to get vaccinated. Um, and Minor aches, especially like in the arm, fatigue the next day, grogginess, like if you had like a hangover, grogginess,
Hmm.
uh, and just kind of like for that one day, I was just very tired, uh, but I wasn't like sleeping the whole day either. I still went out my day, did what I had to do. And then at night, I had like a slight fever, and then it just went away. But I don't think it was for more than an hour because it didn't feel long. It wasn't like the whole night, and that was it. I mean, but as far as what's going on down here, they're saying mask on again,
Right.
mask
Yeah.
up,
I
mask up, get vaccinated, all that shit.
Yeah.
So
I got an email. I was at work yesterday, and back when I lived in the Los Angeles area, I had I I signed up for some coupons, which
mm,
would come to me through the LA Weekly uh, uh, web newsletter. And
mhm.
I would screenshot the coupons and take it to the place. Well, I still get those LA Weekly newsletters, and then I was on my phone, and then it says, "Oh, mask going back on the 16th
Mhm.
at 11:59 p.m."
So
Mandate.
specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So and indoors, so people were out at the bar, and then they're like,
Mhm.
ding 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 ding, you got 1 minute."
Cause
Look,
if
dude.
do
Look.
you the social distancing thing go back into effect if you put masks back on? Like, is it gonna be restaurants at capacity and all those
Mhm.
things too? Which
Yeah.
that's craziness.
See, look, this is what I'm thinking. Oh, this is what they're saying. Possible second lockdown, but to be honest, I don't think the economy could keep doing this shit. So I think it's like we're probably gonna have to power through this second strain through whatever's going on. Maybe not a second lockdown because I don't think that. I don't know. Do you guys see that happening again?
No, I
No,
agree.
I,
I
I
agree.
can't.
No,
I couldn't see, not a complete lockdown like they did before,
no,
where
no.
where you wake up the next day and then the streets are empty, and you don't know what's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on. And then I show up at work and they're like, okay, they let everybody go except for, you
Hmm.
five people. And I'm like, well, great,
Yeah.
So no, I don't think that they could do it again,
No,
It's,
he said what he said was the number one thing. The economy is what really hurt from this whole thing, and the economy is still hurting. Things are still not back to normal. So, yeah, I don't think they could
Yeah.
shut it back down like that again.
and I
It,
kind of to, okay, so you go to, Carmen works at a hotel right now
mhm.
that has a restaurant. She works in the restaurant at the hotel. They're always packed all the time. They don't even have
Yeah.
enough staff to feed the people, right? Everybody, we live in a vacation town. Now that people get to vacation, everybody's out. And now, like, I saw that Las Vegas, they're instituting, masks back on the inside. All these
Mhm.
vacation places are like, oh, shut the gates, we can't do
Yeah.
this anymore. So it's like you held people in for so long, and now they're
Yeah.
clamoring to get out. flights are
Yeah.
expensive. All the hotels are booked up 100%, and they're still running with minimal people because they lost so much money last year. So, it's kind of I kind of feel like because they shut everything down, it made everything today worse, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is especially the hospitality industry is one of the industries that got hit
Oh
the
yeah.
hardest. So yeah,
You
we're definitely suffering still.
you drive around in the city, all these restaurants now hiring,
Mm-hmm.
fast food restaurants, dining restaurants, all kinds of food establishments are like now hiring, now hiring, now hiring.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the demand is there, you
Well,
know.
everybody's
Um,
people are trying to figure out why is there such a shortage in hospitality workers, and it's like it's either people decided to choose a different profession because they saw what was going on, and the hospitality industry was the one getting affected so negatively.
yeah.
It was either that or a lot of people still on unemployment. I like to see the change when that unemployment let up in supposedly
Hmm.
September. What the difference will be then?
Yeah. Well, see, you got a point there. Through this pandemic, maybe people started to rethink things. Maybe they don't want to go back to certain jobs because it's so sketch right now still.
Yeah,
Like there's like this false sense of like security, but
yeah.
who the fuck knows where we're gonna be in 5 months? You get me? So
Mhm.
they kind of want to like maybe seek something that's more concrete, not like walking on eggshells kind of shit.
Yep.
But you know what? I don't think it's gonna get to that point. I just think that it's like people that got let go from their jobs because of this shit, and then they went on unemployment and they've been waiting to go back to work at the same fucking place. And I was talking to my mom about this shit, and I was like, look, I've worked in the kitchen for a while. When I left Catalina Island, I did something completely different. I didn't go back into the kitchen because I told myself I need a break from that shit. And I wanted to look for a job that didn't necessarily want me to work weekends. I needed Monday to Friday, weekends off. And in the kitchen, it's always like
Gotta
you're
work
off
weekends.
Tuesday, yeah, you're off Tuesday, and then you're off Thursday, and oh, you're off Monday, and then you're off Friday. Like it's just, and it's all seniority when it comes to weekends off. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna take a break from that shit, and because I need something stable. Uh,
Yeah.
I need my schedule to be the same every week because uh, it's also I had just my first kid, so I was trying to be there, more. And and I told my mom, you know what, all these people are waiting to go back to their old jobs, but it's scary to leap into something new, something you don't know, but sometimes you have to do that shit. It's just start off with something you've never done. And I
Yeah.
think once you do that, you develop that versatility, and you actually, even if you don't stay there and you don't make it, you learn from that. So it's like stop waiting for your old job and just do something fucking new. You might even get a new job that pays you even more. Who knows?
Yeah, you
You
never
get me?
you never
So
actually know what's on the other side of that journey.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, go for it.
No, yeah.
Go ahead.
It's kind of like Carmen's been toying with this idea to kind of get out. I think she's got a friend who also works in kitchens, and she was like, "Oh, the people are too rude right now. Everybody, they're too rude." And so she started to do like a housekeeping service, something completely different than what she was doing before. And it's like, I need to get out of the kitchens for a while and just, see something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so
And
what you saying definitely resonates with me because I want to get out of the kitchen and do something different, but I've never done anything different, so it's a little bit nervous to do something that I've
hmm
never to
it,
try
it's
something
it, it's
completely new.
it's nerve wracking. I mean, yeah, the nerves are there. And
This might be the
you never
perfect
know.
time for it because people are paying so much. Because my
Hmm.
whole thing is, if I start over in a new, completely new profession, a completely new thing, I'm gonna be
Hmm.
probably making the minimum wage, and I've already worked my ass
Yeah.
off to make a good amount of money per hour. But if I start over completely new with zero skill in that field, I'm gonna be starting off
Hmm.
minimum wage. So I
Oh
think
yeah,
right now
definitely.
would probably be the best way to go about it because everyone's paying so much because they're so short-handed. So you could probably get in there
Hmm.
at a higher amount.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you're like very confident where you are as and what you do, but I get it, you're kind of probably getting tired of that shit as well. Then keep doing your thing. But my point was that for people that were out of jobs and they were like, "Well, I don't have a job and I'm not getting any unemployment. I don't know what to
Yeah, you
do."
gotta go do
It's
something
like,
different.
it's just go do something new. Just go. Like, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You're gonna get your first paycheck. You may not pass your probation. Whatever. It's just
Hmm.
actually, I took a leap and I went to this other job and I did not pass the probation, bro.
Really?
Because I didn't. You had to keep making consistent quotas
Hmm.
every day.
Oh man.
That job was like, it doesn't matter if you've been there 6 years,
Hmm.
you don't make your quota, it's like you might as well just start looking for another job.
Right.
And I was there for a cool minute, but in the end, it was like, you know what, this is not for me. This is not for me. The money was good, very good, but it's like it was a union job, and I'm like, it was good, but to me, the work balance was horrible,
Hmm.
horrible, horrible. 12 hours one day, the next day they want you to come in at 4 in the morning, uh, 8 hours, and then you never knew how much you were going to do. So
Yeah.
there's always overtime. Um, to me, money is important and it makes life comfortable, but it's not important enough to where I'm like literally mentally fucking drained because I'm always at work.
Hmm.
You get me? Like it's not worth it, you know. And it just depends on who you are. Like if all if your whole life is just your job, it's like it's not a healthy way to live, and it's been shown scientifically it's not healthy for your mind,
Right.
not even healthy for your body. Like and like I said, the money is important, but to me, it was like, is it really this worth it to be working like this and not necessarily be happy? But it's just like when it starts to get in the way of like when I see my kids, I'm just too drained,
Too drained to do anything about it.
and
Yeah.
and I'm not even really there with them. I'm just kind of like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't like that,
Right.
because I want to be there fully. So what ended up happening is that they let me go, but I stuck it out. Like I wasn't gonna quit.
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm just gonna start kind of fucking off. So so they let me go, so it
Hmm.
gives me time to get another job or uh, go into an employment which didn't really work out for me. And I had given up, and all of a sudden it came in out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I had just given up. I started looking for jobs and shit.
Hmm.
Um, and it sucks because I was gonna go back to the kitchen actually.
Right.
Cause you can always
And I
find
think,
a job in the kitchen.
dude, I was gonna go work at this old folks home, but I that place has a history with my family. My brother worked there, my sister worked there, my niece worked there, or she works there. And I was gonna go in the kitchen because my sister's like, "Hey, they need people in the kitchen. Go try it. Go do go apply." And I'm like, "All right, cool." So I did, and everything went great. Like they're like, "Okay, we're gonna give you this much money," and I'm like, I literally looked there. I'm like,
Right.
and she said a price. I'm like, "Can you go a little higher?"
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "Look, well, you do have the experience, so let me talk to my boss." And I'm like, "Look, if you get me this much, I guarantee you a year, no excuses.
Right.
Won't miss a day unless I get sick or I really have to.
Hmm.
If you can give me this price." She said, "Okay, yeah." And they called me. They're like, "Yeah, we agree with the price." Never got the job because I went to go do the background check and it had, I don't know what's going on with this, with the background check place. I was left on pending.
Hmm.
So they were like, "We're so sorry. I don't know what's going on. You're not the only one that this is happening to. We have two applicants that for different departments that they, for some reason, they're not clearing their background check." I'm like, "Well, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I don't know what's going on with your guys' the administrative side of it, but I mean, you guys need people, and then this is happening. Like, you guys should really fix that. You know,
It's like
you
you
guys should
already.
really try to fix that.
I haven't failed. You know I'm not a bad guy. I'm just a pending guy, right?
Yeah, and then I even joked around with him because I was calling him like, so has it gone
Gone
through? You
through.
know, and I even joked around. I was like, oh, I'm starting to think you guys don't want to hire me because I asked for too much money, and you want to see who's gonna do it for less.
That's true too. Yeah.
And I started to think that I'm like, motherfuckers, like, it could be a
You know
possibility.
what's pending
I,
is this wage he wants. You know.
mm,
That's
so
very
I'm like,
true.
man, I'm like, fuck you, whatever. I'll move on. It's all good. But I think that way because I'm like, no, companies are shady like that. They're like, if they can find somebody else to do it for less, they will.
Right.
Well, what's the
Uh,
average that a cook? I don't know if you know this information or not. I believe I was talking to Haley, and she kind of know a little bit. But what is the average amount that a cook, just a line cook, would get paid in one of the nice restaurants in California?
to be honest, 18 to 19, possibly 20.
That's not bad, but I mean, I guess for California, it's not good.
But see, no, but see, this is the thing where I applied. I was just gonna be a prepper dishwasher,
Mm-hmm.
and I got them to pay me 18.50.
Right.
They agreed on 18.50, but they're
Yeah.
like, okay, you know what? We'll give you that, but you're gonna have to kind of do some prepping. I'm like, I'm fine with that. That's cool. And they're like, you know what? It's not really hard here. We just cater to like 60 people here. I'm like, cool,
Yeah. You can be okay with that too, right?
cool. And like, they're like, what days do you want? I want mornings. I like to start early. I like to get off early. What days? I'm like, no, whatever. I don't really care about the days, but I would like some like weekends if possible. Oh yeah, we can do that. Yeah, definitely. I'm like, okay, cool. Cool. Sign me up. But see, that's the thing. Like, I think that's what I'm telling you. They probably got somebody else to do it cheaper because they're like, man, this guy's acting.
Cheaper. He said,
asking.
"I'll work
He
whatever you
he he
want. How much
he
you want to pay
he's
me? That's
basically
okay."
he's basically gonna get paid for like like one of these chefs are. So it's like, but they agreed to it. They didn't say no. And they were hurting. They were hurting too,
Mm-hmm.
as far as employees. So I mean, sometimes you got to bite the bullet. Because there's one thing I remember hearing this like randomly. I don't know where it even came from, and it's very true. That's why I was like, if you give me this prize, I will give you a year,
Right.
guaranteed. Because there was a saying that I don't know where I heard it from, but it says, "Not what you deserve is what you can negotiate." And ever since I heard that, I'm like, huh, makes a lot of fucking sense.
Yeah, that
Like,
that's caused problems in my world a bunch of times. That's very true. It's not what you're worth, it's what you can negotiate. So like
exactly.
if you working in restaurants and then people get a whiff of how much you're getting paid, like I just don't feel
Hmm.
like if I'm working with somebody and they're getting paid more than me, I don't look at that person and I'm like, fuck her. Why is she getting paid more? That's not fair. Why is he getting? It's like no, they negotiated better than me. It's
Exactly.
that
And that
simple.
that's
I didn't
true. You're right.
negotiate as good as they did. And
Like, you don't, yeah, like growing up, you don't, I didn't think about it that way. And even uh, growing up, like, you start working and you don't ever think about it that way. So you go to a job and your first jobs, and then they're like, this is where you're going to get paid. And you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Because you don't know. You don't
well, you're
have that
just happy to get
education
the
yet.
job.
Yeah, exactly. But once you start to get like your second, third job, that's when you're like, and it also depends if you stay in the same profession or job or whatever you want to call it, career. That's when you can go negotiate more. But if you can negotiate with other jobs that you have no experience, that's a little harder. But I mean, you can make it work. You could even say like, well, look at my resume. Look at my how many years I've worked here, so I'm reliable. You can make it work, but I mean, to be honest, it's very true. It never hurts to ask because when I had that interview, all I had to do was ask.
Yeah, well,
Like,
the biggest thing that
don't
employers
be.
do is they'll say, "Hey, how much do you get paid right now?" And you'll say 15.
Lie,
Okay, I'll pay you
lie.
15.50. And so many young people get caught by that. Then when they get there and everyone's making 18 and they making 15.50, they're like, "Why are you making so much?" Because he offered you 50 cents more than what you already got paid, and you took it like a dummy. Congratulations, you just played just.
Yeah. I remember somebody. I think my sister told me this because my sister works for HR. She works for HR where she's at. She's like, you know what? Just lie to them. Like, don't even tell them exactly what you got paid at your other job. They might not even call your employer. It's just
Well, they
all
can't.
like,
I don't
They
think
can't. Yeah,
they
they
can't
can't
ask
ask
that
that.
anyway.
no, no.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that. So then I'm like, oh, okay. So like, I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, just tell them you were getting paid like above minimum wage. Um, and they might be able to match it, or they might not even not. They might not be able to, but don't tell them exactly what you got paid. And I'm me. I'm like, well, I don't want to lie. I want to be honest. I
Right.
don't me like
I'm
like
gonna have to
I don't
live
want
with
to.
this. If I lie to you,
Yeah,
I'm gonna come to work every day and I'll be like, oh, I didn't tell
yeah,
them the truth about how much I make.
yeah, yeah. And then they're gonna like look at me and oh, that's the guy that lied and got more money. But stupid. But then I'm like, man, nah, I can't. That's a dumb way to think about it. It's like, and then that's when my sister kind of laughed. She's like, they don't check on that shit. Like, just trust me. I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, yeah, it works. It works. Don't tell them you were getting this much because then they're gonna fucking want to match it or give you quote more than that, which is probably be like what 50 cents more, maybe if a dollar if you're lucky. But it's shady. It's shady out there. You gotta think about what you're gonna say because these companies are shady as fuck. They want to do
It's all a
everything for
game.
cheap. Yeah, it's all a game. They just want to get more and give less. So you kind of have to be ridiculous with it, I guess you can say. See what. So lately, like I'm unemployed right now. So lately, I've been like that. Like if I get an interview for a job and they tell me one thing and it's another. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. You told me one thing, now it's another. I don't agree to that. You told me I was gonna get this shift. Oh, that wasn't us. That was the guy there. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Like this is what I asked for, and I turned it down. Like
Hmm.
right now, I'm at this point where I'm just turning shit left and right because if it's not worth it to me, I'm not gonna waste my time. Like, oh, we're gonna give you this. Can you do more? No, no. Okay, thank you for your time. I just stop. I just don't even proceed with that shit.
No,
Um,
I don't.
Well, at
I'm
least
not
that's
interested.
honest, you know. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not interested in being the star team member.
I don't
I just
think.
want to do
yeah,
the
and
bare
it,
minimum and leave.
yeah, and I'm just like, nah, man. That's okay. Like right now, I'm at a point where I can probably like I shouldn't be, but kind of like refuse offers. Because,
Hmm.
like I said, out of nowhere, fucking stupid as unemployment finally gave me my shit.
Hmm.
Like I had already given up, and all of a sudden they're like calling me and interviewing me. And so, what happened in your last job? This is what happened. She's like, well, this is just to see if you still qualify, or we're gonna disqualify. I was like, at this point, you can disqualify me if you want. Excuse my language. I haven't gotten shit from you guys, so it wouldn't really matter to me. I think like a week later, I got my card and like whatever was deposited. Like the money was already there. So I'm like, all right, cool. This is unemployment, right? This is how it is. This is how it feels to be unemployed. It's weird, but
It doesn't feel that bad.
it doesn't. Like I'm all right. I'm cool. I'm chilling right now. Like my rent is good. My kids got money. You know, I think it's time to kick back and relax a little bit. And I don't feel one bit guilty about it.
You shouldn't. There's no reason to feel guilty about it.
Yeah, because it's funny because the mother of my child goes like, "You're not busy. What do you do?" I'm like, "Well, you know what? I got other shit to do that I do. It's not like I'm just like here all day not doing shit. I clean. I do yard. I do yard work. I run errands. I do favors for my mom.
There's things to do.
Yeah.
You ever see
Sometimes I
the
like.
You ever see the movie
Yeah.
About a Boy with Hugh Grant?
I don't think so, man.
Um, uh, it's called About a Boy. It's got Hugh Grant in it, and it's got Nicholas Holt, who's the guy that played Beast in like the newish X-Men movies.
Yeah.
And basically Hugh Grant, his character in the movie, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't have a job. He's rich because his father wrote a Christmas song, and so
Ah,
he lives off that money and
the royalties
the
of that
royalties
one
of that
song.
one song. And he basically goes through how he fills his time. He's like, I got to go get my haircut. That's half an hour. I go play pool for an hour, watch, game shows for, 2 hours. He's like, I don't understand how people, can have a job. You got all this other stuff to do. Like, where do you fit a job in? So, man, it wouldn't be. But if I didn't have a place to go to, I'd have to have a place to go to, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I couldn't be
Yeah.
unemployed. When we first moved here, I didn't have a job for a month, and it drove me crazy. Like I was like, what am I supposed to be doing,
Well, yeah. Well, when you're constantly hustling and you've been employed for so long, it's like, yeah, you stop to look around. You're like, what the fuck do I do?
Mhm.
Like, I'm not in the system right now. I'm not necessarily contributing to society. So what the fuck do I do with my life? You live it, right?
Right.
So live your life. Because when you have a job, you're doing something that's systematic,
Mhm.
that needs to be done.
Well, you're gonna
Um,
have to get back to work soon enough, so just enjoy it while
exactly.
you
Yeah,
can.
exactly. Exactly.
Have
I'm just
fun
gonna
with it,
ride,
and yeah,
like I said, I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off, and then back to it.
there's been
And I'm
people
gonna
on
be able.
unemployment over a year now, still riding the wave.
I don't know if I can do that. Like I
That's a
think I
long
will start
time.
feeling. See, the problem with me is I will start feeling guilty. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I got to do something now. Like, you have to be. Some people they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
But
some people are okay with not working.
um, I think I'll be okay. I'll do 3-5 months. I don't know if I can do a year.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can do a year. Um, but yeah, shit. Till the wheels fall off, and then get back to it. But I hear what you're saying, Kirk. Like it's like, what do you do, especially if you're used to doing so much or being at work for long hours and shit? Like, what do
Right.
you do?
Like you were talking about that union job that you were doing. The job that I actually did get whenever we got here, I was like kind of in the same situation. I at least worked a 10-hour day, Monday through Friday. Like I knew the days I was going to work, but I never knew like what time I was going to get off. And then like
Exactly.
if I had 20 orders for the next day, then I'd have to show up at
Hmm.
6 in the morning, and like, oh, I gotta get up at 6. And then maybe Carmen had the night off, and I would be like, well, I can't really do it too much for you because I gotta go to work at 6. And it's just and I was super stressed out all the time. And it's that work
Yeah.
life balance where like, how do
Let me
you?
ask you something.
Yeah.
You were dreaming about work, right?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, seriously. Yeah. You would dream about your fucking work,
Yeah.
and then you wake up and you thought you went to work already. I'm like, oh shit. I was just dreaming about work. I
Yeah.
still need to go to work. I, yeah, I'm serious. Like that's how it was. Like with jobs like that are very long hours and very
Uh-huh.
like demanding. It's
Just
like you
takes up your
dream about
life.
work.
Yeah.
You dream about work.
Right.
Like that's what I'm telling you. It's not healthy.
Yeah, it's not good. That you can have all the overtime in the world, but at the end of the day, like you said, 40 hours. You work more than that, you become less productive.
Exactly. It's true. It's true. Um, hey, do you recall that one time that you had to go wake me up
Oh yeah,
in my room?
oh yeah. So I can't remember what happened. You were used to working. You were used to working mornings because you were the dishwasher, and then you had to work. I think you were training for salad bar or something. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, I
It
think so.
it
Yeah.
was like a weird thing, and so you were off, and then I knock on your door,
I
and
took a nap
you
on
took a
my
nap
break.
on your break,
Yeah.
yeah, because you had like a nice 4-hour break.
Yeah, 2-4. Yeah. That was.
Oh no, oh no, we lost. Oh,
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I had an incoming call. So.
oh,
Um.
oh, we can't hear you, Johnny. Uh, Johnny, we can't
on my
hear you.
break,
There you go.
and you came to wait.
Are you there? Nope.
Give me a second. You're gonna lose me.
Okay. Oh, the J's look pretty cool. You think J is a cool letter? I like J as a letter because it's the same shape, you know?
Sure.
Like, are you there? Can you hear us? Can you
Yeah,
hear? Okay. So you took a break and you took a nap, and then I think Fred was working dinner, and I maybe I was the salad bar guy, you were the dishwasher. Believe that's what it was. And I come knocking on your door, and, and I was like, Johnny, come on down. You got to work. And you're like, man, it's only 4 in the morning. I don't work until 7. And I was like, what do you mean you don't work for 7? Our shift is over at 8. Like, and then like.
Dude.
15 minutes later, you come down and you're like, oh, I don't understand. I didn't know what happened. I thought you were messing with me. You thought I woke you up at 4 in the morning to say you need to go to work.
I'm sorry, guys. I keep getting phone calls. May have to just cut it like right now. 'Cause I keep getting phone calls.
That's all right.
This person's stalking.
Johnny got a stalker.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I keep.
That's all right. We'll wrap it up, man.
Well, this is always a good episode. Always nice talking to Johnny. Thank you guys for listening to the Sweet Gravy Podcast. If you have any questions or suggestions, please go to sweetgravypod@gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on